Hello again, Roy.RealEstate here with Coldwell Banker Legacy in San Angelo. Today I want to talk to you a little about property taxes. It's that time of the year, property taxes are due January 31st. So people talk about, looking for houses and just thinking about taxes as they're getting into them, think, well, I don't want to live here, the taxes are too high, and those kind of issues. So I just want to kind of hopefully bring a little clarity to how the process works and help you understand what you can and can't do about it. So if you live in city limits of San Angelo in San Angelo ISD, then your tax rate is 2.531% of the value of your house. So if you have a $100,000 house, then your taxes are going to be $2,531. So that's the simple way to put it. And there's nothing you can do to change that except live in a less expensive or more expensive house. That's the only thing that's going to change it. Every $100,000 house in the city of San Angelo in SAISD will have exactly the same tax rate. Now, how does that tax rate break down? Well, about 0.5% of it is Tom Green County. It's 0.545. So for every $100 that your house is worth, or $100,000 in this case, you're going to pay $545 in taxes to Tom Green County. The city of San Angelo is 0.776. So for a $100,000 house, you're going to pay $776 per year in taxes to the city of San Angelo. So that's one you can change by changing the location you choose to buy a house in. So if you buy one outside the city limits, then you won't pay that tax rate. So that is a thing you can weigh and make a decision whether you want to or not. If you think the city services are not worth that $776 per $100,000 in house value, then you can buy one outside the city limits, not get some of those city services, and pay a lower tax rate. The SAISD portion of that is $1.21 per $100 valuation. So that's going to be about $1,200. So it's about half of your property taxes. So now this is where it gets interesting, because the school districts, they're in a very narrow range. If you look at all the school districts across the state, they're in a pretty small range because a lot of it is forced on them by the state government. So it matters not a whole lot. It does a little bit, but not a lot, whether you live in SAISD or Wall or Grape Creek or Cristoval. So for an example, I said San Angelo is $1.21. Well, Cristoval is $1.21744. So it's going to cost you an extra $7.44 on a $100,000 house if you live in Cristoval ISD. Wall and Grape Creek are both a little bit higher. Wall is 1.328, so it's going to cost you an extra $100 on a $100,000 house. Grape Creek's 1.376, so it's slightly higher than Wall. So there is some variance there, but they're going to be in a pretty small range, and that's going to be true mostly across the state. So there's not a lot you can do, because property tax is one of the primary taxes in the state of Texas, and so there's just not a whole lot you can do other than live in a house that has less value, as far as moving and fixing that, making it change by being here or being there somewhere different. So here's what you can do. There's basically only two things you can do. The things you can do are, first, make sure your house is valued properly. If you bought your house a year ago for $200,000, and this year you get a tax valuation, because that valuation comes out in spring, March or May or June, somewhere in that time frame, or should, you have 30 days to protest it. So if you buy a house for $200,000 and next year you get a valuation that says your house is worth $250,000, then that's the time to file for a protest. So that's what you can do. You can make sure your house is valued correctly. This is where I can help you. If you think it is not valued correctly, give me a call. We can talk about it. I can pull some numbers and help you kind of come up with a better value. See if their numbers are correct. If their numbers are correct, then there's only one thing you can do, and that is make sure you're getting your exemptions. Now, there's multiple exemptions that people might or might not qualify for. If it's your primary residence, there's a homestead exemption. That takes $25,000 for the school district off the value of your house. So if you have a house that's valued at $125,000, it's now valued for tax purposes in the school district at $100,000. But then the city and county have different, theirs are more of a percentage on the homestead. So the city and county are about 20%. So that $125,000 house, it's going to reduce it by about $25,000. So it's going to be about the same on a $100,000 house. But if it's a $200,000 house or a $500,000 house, then you're going to get a percentage on those. So That's the homestead. There's an over 65 exemption. That takes about $10,000 off the value of your house. There's a disabled exemption that takes about $10,000 off your house. And then there's disabled vets, and this can be a wide range, from as little as $5,000 off the value of your house up to 100%, where you pay no taxes on that house. Depending on your level of disability, you got to prove it through the military processes, and prove it to the Tom Green County Appraisal District. So that's the things you can do. If you take those exemptions properly, then you can get your taxes lowered some. So really the time to do that's February or March before the valuations are done. Go to the Tom Green County Appraisal District, or the county you live in if you're not in Tom Green County, and get the forms, fill out for the homestead exemption over 65, whichever one of those you qualify for. They may have some documentation they need, particularly on the disabled vet. Get that documentation turned into them, so make sure you get those exemptions. And that's really about all you can do. Again, make sure the value of your house is reasonably accurate. I mean, they're not ever going to be spot on, but reasonably accurate. And then make sure you're getting any of the exemptions that you qualify for. So if you got any questions on it, give me a call. We can talk about it. Roy.RealEstate, 325-268-0775. Thank you.